as T1 have pick priority. So since they are a second pick, they will actually get the next one. So that may mean that, in fact, DRX have to ban it themselves.
Yeah, I actually think that Lulu Nocturne is so incredibly powerful just in general. So not going to be getting through, I do not think. Let's see what T1 are going to be taking away, though. Nico is still up and available. Another big one.
Yeah, I feel like you
can be taken by either side.
You can ban Nico as T1, and then if they ban the Lulu, maybe you get the Bard, and you're happy with that anyways. You feel really good about your ranged support here. You could still play Thresh, of course, if you wanted to, as Keria. He's pretty well known on that champion as well.
Yep.
Let's see what they decide to do here. DRX will ban the Lulu, as I expected.
Yeah, so it has to be the Lulu and probably Nico or Bard. Man, it feels so hard because Keria is just really, really good at all of the champions. And so it feels like you need about 11 bans if you really want to get any work done.
I wonder, like, if they leave the Nico up. I mean, they're definitely not going to put Andil on Alistar, you have to imagine this situation.
I hope not. Although it does work for the team composition, so I can understand why they would decide to do it. I just think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I just think it's going to cost too much to make that choice if they wanted to trade for Bard for something like that.
Doran wants to play Sion, by the way.
Yeah, that was the clear intent behind that ban. Ambessa will also be a pick that it could have been played into. Will be banned away now. It works well with the dive theme here for T1, where you just send all of your engage in, and then Aphelios cleans up. Ooh, maybe the first Jax to come through here. But waiting to see this one. Little Dusk and Dawn.
Okay, kind of fun. Let's see whether it is actually going to be locked in. Whether we get the Wizard Jax as well, which is what we saw, I believe, from Bin over in the LPL.
I've seen Zahin already. I was looking for a Jax. That's something a little bit different.
Well, I believe this is going to be a Zahin lock-in.
All right.
So we get upgraded Aatrox, and now DRX rounding out their composition.
Let's see what Rich thinks is a counterpick here, because he already played the Kennen to an incredible degree against Keen on the Renekton last match around in that game 1. He had a good plan there. He's pulling out the Jax potentially here, so maybe I'll get my wish anyways.
I mean, Counter-Strike works pretty well into Zahin's Q.
It also is really good to set up Orianna, so is the Xin Zhao, and it's a great side lane win condition to get your Yunara online later on in the game, and they'll deny the Bard.
Whoa, okay.
So probably a Nico here, or if they want to play it safe, they could just go for the Thresh. I mean, there's a few other things you could do here aggressively, but I don't like Pyke, but I think the risk is too high, even though it kind of suits the composition. Like some would Blitzcrank here, maybe Duro, but I don't think that's really on the cards.
Yeah, I think you want something that can peel or like add a little bit of safety to Pays, but maybe Keria is going to do something crazy, and it will be just the Thresh instead. So Aphelios Thresh, certainly a tale as old as time, that one. And that will be the lock-in here into the Bard Yunara. So I imagine that Gio and Andil should have a pretty good time in lane, but game number 1. I actually really liked the fan chant leader's voice crack on the Dul. That was really good. I feel like it added a certain layer of emotion to what we got out of the fan chants that time around. I know we don't adjudicate fan chants all that often, but maybe that's something we're going to do more of from now on. As Keria and Pays not having a great time already.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive ghost from Gio, and we'll get the value he's looking for. Keria opting for Ignite.
Wow. Yeah. And this isn't an unsealed spellbook Ignite either. He has taken the Glacial Augment, so he is just playing with Ignite this time around.
That's an interesting choice. It's going to be decent into, you know, even later on in the game, just igniting the Xin Zhao, and quite useful, but it does feel like Heal's ability to reposition at level 1 is often much more sought after, as you can see here.
Gio is looking pretty healthy as Pays throws down the barrier. Doesn't get a massive amount of value, but right now DRX with full control of this lane. We did mention earlier on that this is likely how this lane will kind of function with the range advantage that DRX does have down there.
You always want to keep in mind that Keria is insane on both of the support champions that are in this lane, understands them better than probably anybody, so I won't judge his Ignite pick just yet. We'll see what he can get done with it. Obviously, he hasn't employed it at the moment, but this is a lane that is practically impossible to win, especially with how the trade went at level 1. in terms of the battle for level 2.
Yep.
They do get it here. FaZe is going to start healing up a little bit off the Severum. We'll look for poke where he can. This is just kind of how Aphelios goes. Very fun to watch in the laning phase because you have a little bit more options than a lot of other AD carries. You can kind of change modes. You can even become an engager later on when you get your Gravitum.
But not just yet.
Not yet.
Right now, they're not allowed to really do much of anything at all. Just going to be hugging their turret. As Willer is making his way in, gets a ward down onto Oner, spots him out, and just audaciously charges in. And you can see the bottom lane, they are making their way over, but T1 do not have priority down there. So Andil makes his way in, and it should be a red buff steal here for Willer. DRX really just taking advantage of their comp's advantages at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher to do this on red side than it is on blue side to get that red buff away, but it works out actually for them in this situation, especially because it's a Xin Zhao into a Nocturne, and the Nocturne just isn't going to be able to scrap at this point in time. We talked about it in the draft a little bit. He's going to be a lot more scary when he hits level 6. We have some coach voice from Joker already, man.
Yeah,
he's always... He's just like, top, bottom's going well, keep pushing top. He's talking about the prio and how to use it to get scuttles.
And just a little bit more of a focus on the jungle and where Willer is going, and that worked out here as Magical Journey is taken. What is that? That was crazy, as FaZe will be taken down for first blood, but Andil will be traded for immediately. Both of the supports picking up some kills, but it's Jiu that's allowed to stick around in lane. So theoretically, it is actually a win for DRX.
I love the camera was like, and Oner's over here, by the way. It's not going to impact this play. And he was not able to impact that play, but the play from the Keria there was pretty nice regardless.
And
great kill back.
With Geo actually immediately going for a reset, it didn't really work out in their favor. So never you mind. And Flash was actually held onto here by Keria, so he can make some big plays with the Lantern later on, which could be a little bit of fun. Get Oner in there, maybe earlier than is otherwise expected on the Nocturne.
I could look for Flash Flay play or even a hook, but this is just an early flash here from FaZe. The Lantern is used really trickily. Andil does get taken out here by Keria. It's still a kill on the AD carry, but as you mentioned with the reset, not a whole lot of extra value. It's not like Jiu is able to pick up a plate or anything like that, and the cull goes straight into the inventory here of FaZe, so doesn't amount to too much.
Yep. Jiu not actually picking up a cull this time around, just went for the recurve bow. So we'll be behind a little bit of gold as that one does get cashed in. And FaZe now with a very nice shove towards this turret, almost able to get this first plate.
It was cool the way that they played that Lantern with FaZe flashing left and then going right with the Lantern. Looks like that's something they've practiced. Very classic Thresh play, but it was fun to see it in action.
Yep.
Didn't save his life, but was very cool.
And also showing that Keria and FaZe really starting to get onto the same page, which is pretty cool. Oner moving down towards his bottom side. Magical Journey out for Andil, as DRX playing with a lot of respect down here.
Yeah, this is the Infernum at work here, so we'll push this wave in. And Gio will catch it. I'll have a slight CS advantage. We do see Willer coming down here a little bit late.
All right, Emperor's Divide is going to throw Yukal back. There's the fear out from Oner, but it looks like Yukal is just fine. Still, FaZe not actually able to click onto the Lantern, does get it as the ward disappears, but still is going to be in a lot of trouble. And trying to throw out these auto attacks as Willer almost is dead to Keria the flash to pick up the kill on the enemy jungle. But it does mean that G is able to get some damage down. Man, that ramped up tower doing so much work, and T1 just outplay them.
And you know what it is? It's Ignite.
There you go.
Like, look, if I take Ignite here, when they come back for this counter gank after Oner leaves and goes to the mid lane, I'll actually have just enough damage to flash auto and take him out and take my second kill of the game. And it's super calculated. My favorite part about this is the jungle diff, right? Like the Nocturne tries to do something mid, they don't even get a flash, and then down here, Xin Zhao's like, I'm getting everything. And I'm getting that stun onto Aphelios here. Kites back though, has the Gravitum. And then Keria ignites, flashes for the auto, grabs the kill. Ignite value.
Beautifully done. Gets a level up as well. Make sure that he is definitely not dying. And that tower was very angry. Man, if Gio had died there, it would have been such a disaster. As T1 now move out to about a 700 gold advantage. As Rich dives on top of Doran here momentarily. Isn't able to find too much. Does get that cannon. I was a little bit wary for a moment. But does manage to lock that one down. Things very even here in the top lane. And bottom side, pays a couple of 100 gold in the lead, but as these cannons are collected and things like this, Gio is going to be feeling better. But Pays, we have to remember, does have that cull, so we'll have a little bit more money coming in.
Rich is having a fun time. He is... Okay, Keria is crazy.
Yeah. Willer is making his way in, though, and Keria could be in a fair bit of trouble here. Doesn't have flash, and so that Lantern, not something you really want to be taking here. 3 Talon Strike does come on through, and Keria is likely to be very dead. Yukal can speed up Willer here, and the hook is not going to be enough. So Yukal even collecting a kill, and that is a bunch of money over to the mid laner of DRX now, spreading the wealth.
Yeah, Keria was really feeling himself there. Perhaps...
Look, sometimes the call of Hex Flash is just too
I mean, look, in terms of the mechanical play that he makes there, incredible, right? Does everything he needs to. Unfortunately, they're just outnumbered. If there is no rotation, then they actually get a huge lead out of it. So in his defense, that was actually very cool.
Yeah.
In reality, it's a kill for Yukal and kind of a setback here for T1 as we reset the gold to even. And I think Faker once again.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to find Yukal. This time he'll flash, but that spell shield was so good to avoid the shockwave for Oner. And that is just a very dead Orianna as T1 back in the lead once again.
Yeah, Yukal didn't flash the last time. This time opted not to as well, but was caught. And there were a few more friends here for T1 and an ultimate available for Oner that he didn't have in the last exchange. And now with red-white here for Pays as this dragon setup potentially begins. T1 in a very comfortable spot. Oner may just simply start this one up after he gets the scuttle. Decides that he's going to head over and grab his red first, so there'll be some extra time here. Yukal's going to TP back to lane.
Yep. Nice little use of the W there for Doran to get a little bit of cheeky extra damage, but Rich is going to be okay. Still, he is down a couple of waves, does have this one to pick up, so maybe it is just going to be one wave difference
he has,
between the Zion and the Jax.
Teleport advantage as well. Doran used his, Rich has not, so...
It's a good point.
He actually is going to be feeling pretty okay about this for the moment. And now the wave's kind of in an awkward spot for Doran where they don't know where Willer is. Willer is channeling his back, so it looks like that's not going to matter.
Yeah, he's going to be heading down towards the bottom side. We'll see whether there is going to be a fight around this dragon. But let's have a look at this one more time. As Faker, he knew that there was a Nocturne on his way over, and he didn't even care about that shockwave. Beautiful use of that spell shield. Like
good spell shield. I also think Yukal just thought he was just barely out of range there. Faker knows exactly how far he can shuffle. He is the OG shuffler.
He is.
And so Yukal's caught a little bit there. If he flashes the ultimate, very survivable, but does not. And flashes anyways and dies, so good spell shield from Oner, who does not have the flash. In fact, everyone except Keria for T1 still holding those.
Well, Oner moving down here towards this dragon. Doesn't have the paranoia, but it's coming up pretty soon. Emperor's Divide as well on its way. As Pays will be able to take a Lantern over towards Keria. T1 now looking to close in, 4v4 around this Drake. Let's see whether Oner can get in and try and steal this one away. Looks like Willer is committed. He is going to be able to take it there. As now Oner with another decent spell shield. It's Faker! Will find two with the Emperor's Divide and now turns his attention to Andil as Gio is still free hitting. A lot of damage now onto Oner and to Pays, who are split up from the rest of the team. The dash from Gio was so sexy, but it's Pays that takes him down. Willer needs one more auto. He'll get it and takes down Oner as well. It's a double as Yukal's in the back of the pit. Keria with the blade to try and take it down, and somehow it's a triple kill for this Xin Zhao. A 3 for 4 in favor of T1, but I have to say, DRX made it look pretty cool.
Yeah, a true conqueror of the Dragon Pit was Willer, hitting every auto he could there. Didn't have it Sundered Sky, by the way. He has it now. He wishes he had it moments before.
얘들아 지금 공tuk이 없을 때 활동해야 돼.
Once
얘들아
again.
억제 치자. 먹자.
Yep. Saying they got to get the dragon, I think, is what's going on in this discussion.
Yep. Certainly sounded like a lot of eating things. That's what I heard.
And he's like, we got to take our opportunity, basically. Obviously, on the top side was being taken by T1, so just making sure they did not just lose their opportunity. Now, Willer here actually plays this well, flashes away. Emperor's Divide here from Faker is amazing, but he goes pretty deep here, and Gio, who doesn't take the damage, it's Andil instead, is at such a high health bar that he can offer so much back. This sidestep is phenomenal, but Oner gets on top of him with the flash, and then from here, Willer gets a knock-up, takes Pays out. Keria looks for the hook here, but does not support his teammates, so Willer is just healing up as much as he can with that Conqueror. And the Faker here is just not quite able to take him out. He gets the charge through.
Incredibly impressive stuff there from Keria towards the end, but also Willer being able to claw back what was quite a difficult situation there around that dragon fight. The fact that Joker was talking about the fact that they are in a great position to win fights, you can understand exactly why he was saying that, but T1 was still able to eke out the extra kill in the exchange. The one thing that does go DRX's way, however, is that dragon that they do manage to pick up for themselves. And so that could be something that allows them to have a little bit of added control later on into this game. And Gio as well, if his mechanics stay this crisp.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say, is if he plays this well, it looks very scary. Is Andil is not going to...
Yeah, Oner is down here as well. There's a Tempered Fate just to stop Pace from doing too much damage. And now Willa gets on in there. I don't know about this, though, as he does get a little bit scared. That's a lot of damage, though. Cosmic Binding as Pace is going to be taken down. It's Andil that gets the kill, but Gio's just not doing enough damage. And Oner picks himself up a double. Kind of a disaster there for DRX.
I mean, Gio once again with a cool sidestep there, but doesn't ultimately matter. It was a pretty big commitment to a desperate situation. I'd have tried to escape there, but decided they were too priced in, I suppose. Let's watch it again. Because Ando just kind of walks face first into this. Gets caught, right? Then the box is on the edge of him, so he can't really get out. Uses a Tempered Fate to deny some of the damage, and it's a beautiful, magical journey to escape. But in this interim, like, unfortunately, Gio, even though he's able to sidestep here, doesn't get caught by the hook, he cannot do enough damage. Like, he just frankly cannot. Even the cannon is getting involved there. Yeah, so, you know, he gets another assist, but now this Aphelios is 1,000 gold ahead. Faker didn't even get involved in that play, but had they even won, he would have still been cleaned up by Faker, who was coming down. UCal did get 2 plates, I believe, off of that, so it's something.
Oh dear, Keria Hex Flash in once again. Another hook, beautifully set up by that Gravitum as Gio is just dead. That is Pays throwing down that Q with the Severum. The Magical Journey does come on through there, but it's a double kill as Andil's just going to fall down. Willa is now in a lot of trouble as Oner's moving in. I think Willa's dead as well. Dustbringer comes on forward. Oner is going to hunt him down, but it's Pays with the damage. Triple kill for the Aphelios. 5-3-5 to start off this game at 14 minutes. And my goodness, this game went from relatively playable to not at all in about a blink of an eye.
Yeah, Pays red-white here. He's got his Crescendum to grab another plate before Rich TP's in. They're sending Gio top. UCal?
Yeah, this time he'll flash.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson. Oof. Feels like every time we cast Keria, it's just a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Every time we cast him playing Thresh, it's like, is Thresh allowed to do that? Like, is that
He's
supposed to
100%
happen?
kill contribution.
Well, you look at the comp and you're like, oh yes, the Thresh protects the Aphelios. It's like the Aphelios protects the Thresh. Like, the Keria's going in and Paige is like, oh, you're pretty deep. Let me kill those guys for you. Like, hold on.
I'll take care of it, don't worry.
Oh my god, the play here from Keria is just out of control, and Pays spaces it well, does the boom boom.
And this was what Keria and Guma were known for, was this exact duo quite a few years ago now.
Yeah, I mean 2021, 2022.
Yeah. As we're going to have a look at another battle here. T1 not liking the look of it. Tempered Fate does go down though. Great hook going to connect onto Willa as he's pulled back with the play, but Oner is already dead. And now Willa goes in one more time. Great shockwave and a double kill here for Gio. Never mind, you know, that blink of an eye I was talking about? Sometimes you have to blink again. You know?
I mean, it's still a pretty significant advantage for the Aphelios, but things getting a little bit better here. They're also going to be able to grab the Herald off of this one, as Keria got the Phaelite for just a second, but it will be reset. As Faker should be fine here. He's got his ult coming back. Oh, I thought he actually had it, but it's coming back up. He's got Flash. Doran going to grab this turret down here at the same time.
Yep.
And Gio will get this Corrosion to pop and probably grab another plate, but still a big gap in the bottom laners. But it's confident plays like this from DRX that you really like to see. They collapse onto Oner. He's got the Lantern, but now they get the Tempered Fate. UCal is at the ready here with his ultimate, and Gio is just playing so confidently today. Dashing forward here, Willie gets the flash, and Gio collects a second. It's actually really well coordinated, and really just no hesitation there from DRX, and from behind you have to be able to spot those potential angles.
Wait, hang on, what happened here?
Yeah, this was...
Oh, great avoidance of the ultimate as Rich just dives on top of Doran, but is Doran going to have that release date win? So far, it is just the passive going down. So that was the result of that one. Kind of cool.
And nothing
played there by Rich.
This should be a mid-turret. They got that extra plate for Gio topside. The gold still significantly in favor of T1 here. But some of these really strong, late game champs are coming online. Well, particularly the Yunara. Gio is still on his way to being very relevant in this game despite a deficit. And if they don't respect the engage, DRX can win this game for sure.
The world's tiniest magical journey being taken here by DRX. As let's see whether Oner can make his way in. There's the paranoia to start this fight off as in goes Doran, gets into the backline, he just takes matters into his own hands. Down goes Andil already, and there is Yukal falling as well. Doran will be dying because he doesn't have that passive available anymore after that fight towards the bottom side, but still, T1 get control of the Dragon Pit. DRX unable to lock that one down. That should be one Dragon apiece and a one team fight for T1.
Yeah, still getting the kill onto Doran feels like a nice little pick-me-up after what was certainly looking to be a disaster, but T1 will be the big winners here as Jiu in danger.
Yep, Faker gonna go forward, but does not quite get far enough to lock down Jiu.
And Pace is like, man, I got the gravitum on him. I was so close.
Yeah, the flash was employed though, so now Yunara with no flash. That's going to be a more easy target here for Faker, who just elected not to go for the flash play because he would have been very deep under the enemy in a turret.
Doran's flank here is massive. He then has the 3-man ultimate. And look at this. Down goes Ondil. In the backline, Oner cleans up house. There's no more Yukal. And Gio alone just cannot carry this fight. Willer's already used his ultimate. There's no front line there for him anymore.
Oh dear. Emperor's Divide is going to throw Rich back, and I think Rich is just dead. He is. Doran going to be able to grab some revenge here in his first kill of the game. Meanwhile, could be Oner in a little bit of trouble here, but does manage to click on the lantern. Look at all of those wards. They were invested.
They still will get this turret on the top side, so it's not all for nothing here. And we didn't talk about it just yet. I hadn't really been looking too closely at it, but Rich is just going for the old Triforce build.
Yeah,
not doing the new tech, which we saw, I want to say Bin do over in the LPL.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
And
see a tweet about it.
It's like a lot of power, and you get the double on hit, and it is very cool for Jax, but you know, the way you play Jax and how you want to play around it can change. And I think with this enemy Aphelios comp, maybe he just wants to go for the Triforce. Either way, I think both are viable. But that was the reason I wanted to see Jax. I want to see new items. It's very fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly not to be the case this time around, as Rich finds himself 1,000 gold behind in this game.
And that's a stride breaker now completed here for Doran as well. So this Zahin is very, very frightening. Faker now having a good time in a side lane as Keria and Pays alongside Oner poised to get into position. Oh, I've seen this play before.
The Thresh isn't here this time, but they have the TP from Doran. Let's see what he can get done.
Yeah, Faker is going to shift some sands. Counter-Strike is going to work out here. Let's see whether Faker... He does have his ulti in about 7 seconds time, and Rich is able to take him down before that does actually come on through. Meanwhile, another fight on the other side as Gio is relatively untouched. Red-white guns from Pays, but he's unable to survive. And now Doran is surrounded. Tempered Fate doing nothing at all as he pulls back Yukal, but he's got an arm guard to break. And it is 3-0 in favor of DRX.
I mean, we've called Faker the Matador for a reason. Like, this guy has pulled people around the map. He's got his side lane cape out, but this one backfires completely on Baron spawn. DRX
surely not. They're not allowed to do it with Oner still alive, right?
I mean, he does not have Paranoia. I mean, it's new Baron and it's on spawn, so it's very difficult to take out, but they still do have this 2-item Yunara. It's going to be a contest and a TP.
Rich is very, very healthy. Hook is going to connect onto said Rich, as the rest of DRX are a little bit split in their decision-making. Faker trying to get in there, Empress Divide, and he sweeps the floor with them. There's the steal we were talking about, and you do not take Baron in the face of T1.
I mean, that was Faker getting caught inside, so it always ends up being a positive for T1, right? He never dies without a reason. Perhaps this reason came a little bit later than DRX anticipated, because he dies to TP back in to stop the greedy Baron. 5 kills on the Azir now. DRX 4,000 gold behind what looked like they're into the game. Kills on the top side into Baron is foiled in the matter of moments. As look at this, like, DRX play this fight so well. I mean, we have to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
TP comes through here from Yukal as well, and Faker has no options, right? Doran's up here on the top side. They're trying to use the Paranoia to buy some space here. Flash is amazing here, but it's not enough to save Faker. And then we look at the turnaround. Look at Willer. He uses all of his health bar, and they take out Pays, which is incredibly difficult to do. They are able to then push forward. The zoning ultimate there makes sure that Doran can't rejoin his teammates. Use the magical journey to make sure, even with low health bars, they get out. As Pays collapsed on again.
Oh dear. Not going to be able to click that lantern this time around as Andil, great sidestep on the hook as well as the Tempered Fate holds Keria in position. But now Oner diving on forward. Doran gets there as well. The stun does come on through, and Keria still going in. It is going to be Oner going down though, and now they're just hiding. Gio able to take down Keria in the end, and now Yukal comes on over. Faker goes golden just to see the lay of the land, and he does not like the look of it as the Sand Soldiers hit the air and Doran hits the ground. It's an ace for DRX this time.
What? Okay, we came into that fight with like, why is FaZe that far up? And then we ended the fight with, why are they still going forward?
You've heard of the double down, Wolf. What about the triple down?
All right, well, this is a bit outdated now, but we watched Faker save the game moments before, which is why it was really cool. We're like, wow, yeah, they got Baron. This is going to be insane. All right, Oner gets the secure. But then...
I kind of want to know what happens
FaZe
here.
Has Lantern, but he just cannot use it.
There were too many bodies.
There are too many people. He can't click on it. Then Keria here is caught by the Bard ultimate and then decides to go back in here. This is actually really well played by Doran. He gets the pullback and he's so difficult to kill. But the spacing on everyone on DRX, especially Geo, just too well played. Rich here can buy a ton of time. He has the stun. Faker comes in so late that it just doesn't matter. He's the last man against the world. All Baron buffs deleted in the blink of an eye. And suddenly it's like, well, I mean, I don't know who's going to toss the ball next.
It's a hot potato, Wolf. It absolutely is. You really do need to get rid of it before you burn your hands. And right now, as we're going to look at the top of our screen, it is even. Dead even between both of these squads. There is an extra dragon on DRX now as a result of that last exchange, and 3 minutes until the next Baron. But as you can see, the cliff of T1 that was put together in that gold graph has now reached the shoreline.
Yeah, that was very aggressive. Sometimes cannot click on Lantern, sometimes die.
Yeah.
But then almost never, in fact, not even sometimes, almost never do then team fight happen afterwards, force and then lose everyone. And
I do like the way you worded that.
Yeah, because there have been some decisions made that warrant an almost caveman-esque speak.
Yes, you would say that yes, decisions were made.
Because if he can click on the Lantern, then where he is doesn't. It's like, oh, of course he can be there. He's spacewalking. That's what I like to call it when you've got like an Ari or a Felios out there just trying to siege, and there's a Lantern there. You're like, all right, well, I'm never really in any danger. All right, let's go right back to the spaceship. But they cut the cord, so to speak, on that one.
I've seen the the space movies where you just the cord gets cut and then
gravity. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
So scary, so scary. Who was that? Like George Clooney and Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Throw your backpack to get back to the space. No.
It was George Clooney, right?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes.
All right. Other than that, for some reason I got Ryan Reynolds in my, no, that's The Proposal that they're in the movie together. I have digressed momentarily because this game got silly. I have decided to also get silly.
Ryan Reynolds often does that as well.
He does. And I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone likes it, you know? It's kind of his thing. Like, he can do serious sometimes, but he'll occasionally have a joke here and there. He's kind of like Jim Carrey in a serious movie, except like it's like always that kind of movie for him.
Yeah, except Jim Carrey's like ridiculously good at the serious movies.
Yeah.
Man.
But he has an element of silliness.
There is definitely always an element
of silliness. There is a lot of silliness.
To a comedian that's an actor now.
There's a lot of silliness in this game, which was something
Let's bring it back to the game.
Series.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 items now for Ju, who has his IE on the way. He's actually almost done with it. He's still not ahead in gold, as FaZe sits on his. But he has a lot of money in his
ahead in gold, and I'm a little bit worried about that for DRX because he's now got 3 items completed. Yuka a little bit further away from that. Looks like he is going towards Rabadon's next, so did skip the Leandries this time.
Yeah, I think if they just group and play as a 5-man instead of splitting, they have a really good chance of closing this game out. But they do not have Prio on this Baron that's spawning in 30 seconds. The Scuttle is going to be the first target.
All right, well, Scuttle is going to get hooked here by Keria as in goes Will, looking for that angle as Lantern comes on through. The flat Cosmic Binding onto 2. FaZe finds the angle, though, as now Oner down to 100 health. And Rich, he just can't skate quite fast enough.
I mean, the Baron isn't up yet, so this is very awkward. Like, you commit the flash there and a ton of ultimates.
But flash paranoia down for Oner means that it's very difficult to get him in without Keria getting into position to deliver him.
It's a lot of teamfight power gone here for DRX, but with a lack of vision here for T1, it's going to be really difficult. The fact that this Baron has a lot more resistances means they have a little leeway here, a little bit of play around this one. Yukal is zoning as if he has ult, but he certainly does not.
Well, Rich on an angle here as Andel can also try and make his way in. We'll see whether no, Tempered Bait is not actually available as Doran dives on forward. Gio gets himself out of the way, though. It's a lot of damage towards Doran, who doesn't really have too much backup. Meanwhile, there's another fight on the other side, and the hook is going to connect onto Willa. Down he will go, and the Zion is put into the passive, and so he's not even killed, and T1 just say thanks for the leash.
Yeah, this was, I think, for DRX a step too far. Joker may have used all his coach comms before this one, because I think the call definitely should have been to play around Vision and to force T1 into you in a favorable way and then get your cooldowns back. Because this looked really cool. It's like the most cinematic play I think Andel's made in a while, right?
Yeah.
Getting the double binding here. They end up getting Oner's flash and ultimate out so he can escape. But then the rest of the ultimates employed means that it's really difficult to fight. The only real one that they have is actually Wheeler's ultimate. You can use that to buy space on the bottom side of the fight here, as you'll see him do in a moment as Doran goes into the back line. He makes the call to go in and try to defend and play for the bottom side here after he gets caught by Keria. But Doran can 1v2 here, has his ultimate back up, and there's just not enough damage on the bottom fight for them to actually win it. And it means T1 win out, grab another Baron. It looks like they're going to grab their second Dragon of the game.
Man, this game is still very, very close, but with the Baron now available for the next 2 minutes on T1, the fact that they stopped the Dragon stacking at the same time does feel like tempo vibes have once again gone into the favor of T1. But, oh man, I still think that this could go either way, given what we have seen thus far, right? Does make me feel good about a less sure of ourselves end to this game.
Yeah, this is a really, I mean, okay, this is a crazy
That
journey.
is a magical journey as they're into the blender. Down goes Andel, immediately punished for that one as the paranoia comes on through. Willa trying to keep himself alive there as Rich just goes golden and then goes dead. Now Faker finds the Emperor's Divide. Yukal's going to flash it, but Jiu, he's still going to take so much damage. Doran uses the ulti to gap close. That was cute, as it's a triple for Pays. And there is the end of the game.
This team, this DRX team, looks like they got so much potential this year, but once again get outclassed by one of our best teams here in the LCK in T1. T1 made a few mistakes, a little bit bullish on some of their plays there towards the latter half of the mid game, but ultimately still do make the right calls, disengage from that Baron, get the reset, and look at the timing on the respawn, looking for Andel.
Making sure they take him down one more time. Keria says, that's my skin. And it is. I mean, Andel's he's just representing, you know? And it is the best bard skin in the game. And